before we get to the stat of the day with Mike Schur, I did want to get with him and you, Amin, on the end of that Bucks-Raptors game yesterday. We've been talking about disappearing leads, and the idea that the Bucks were up 95-81 with 70 seconds left, up 14 with 70 seconds left, and that game went to overtime?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have been talking about 30-second comebacks and 40-second comebacks, but 14 points in 70 seconds was made up for by the Raptors.
It was a nice little kind of moment in time when everything went right for the Raptors, right? You start with Grayson Allen punching Gary Trent Jr. in the dick as he's taking the three. He makes a three. The foul is called, so he goes to the free throw line, hits that, but the foul is reviewed, and it's called a flagrant, so now they keep the ball. So now it's a 4-point play, and they got the ball, and then Scotty Barnes drives, makes a tough layup. Now that's a 6-point play on one possession. The Bucks come back down the court. Now this is where it gets iffy, right? Because Bobby Portis has it on the baseline, and Siakam basically groin thrusts into him vigorously. That knocks Portis out of bounds, but the refs say Toronto ball, and they come down, and Gary Trent hits another three. And all of a sudden, you got yourself overtime.
That is still 9 of the 14 points that were needed.
I can't remember the first 5.
No, I'm just saying there were 5 more points in there in 70 seconds.
That was at the beginning, at the front end.
Totally nuts.
Yeah.
This is a product of the threes, right? How much the game has changed, correct, Mike? Like, what has happened here in these games is that everyone's just gotten ridiculously better at shooting threes.
Well, first of all, for like the 4th day in a row, you've stolen one of my stats of the day. So thank you so much.
I haven't stolen it. What do you mean?
Did.
This
is the way it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to come on the show, and you're supposed to say, Mike Schur is here with the stat of the day. You play the dumb song, I give you the dumb stat, and then we talk about something. What has happened for like every day for the last week is that I come on and you're like, hey, before we get to the stat of the day, let's talk about something really interesting that happened in sports last night where some crazy number stuff happened.
All right, now I'll say it. He was suspended for insubordination. I'll just say it now because he can't. I'll just say it. I'll just tell everybody.
Ain't a command, Mike.
Start of the day. It is
Guy
the
owns the
start of the
company.
day.
What's he doing?
He's an intern.
Founder. No, I'm talking about you.
I know, but he's an intern.
Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day.
You need to rule with an iron fist.
Here's what I was going to do. It was going to be really fun. I was going to say, hey, Dan, it's Thursday. You know what that means? It's time for Milwaukee Bucks Roundup, where we every Thursday on the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, it's wall-to-wall Milwaukee Bucks stats and info. And I was going to pretend like this was like a thing we did because there were 15 crazy things that came out of that game. And you've blown it now, and that's fine. I'll just give you the rest of the interesting Milwaukee
All
Bucks
right, well,
stats.
so people know, though, this is a coincidence. I never know what you're going to come on here and talk about. Never once have I known.
It's been a coincidence every day for the last week.
Well, it's not my fault that you're so unoriginal that I can predict what it is you're going to talk about.
7 minutes into the Bucks-Toronto game last night, the score was 7-1 Milwaukee. 7 minutes into the game, it was 7-1. The Raptors scored 1 point in 7 minutes. Through the first 15 and a half minutes of the game, they were 2 of 30 from the field, 0 of 12 from 3. They had 10 points from the free throw line and 4 points from actual basketball play. It was like it was like Drake was having a nightmare and we were all watching it play out live. Truly the worst first quarter of basketball. It was 13-12 at the end of the first quarter.
Whoa.
That was insane. Also, let's talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo for a second. Over a 3-game span before last night's game, he became the first NBA player to average 45, 15, and 5 over a 3-game span since Wilt Chamberlain in January of 1964. And last night, Giannis had a quadruple-double, 30 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists, and 12 turnovers. He is the only player ever to have a 30, 20, 10, and 10 in a single game since turnovers started being tracked in 1977.
That's great.
Congrats to you, Giannis, for the quadruple double.
Your stat was better than my stat. All I did was intro it.
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter now because you ruined it. You lopped off the top of the Milwaukee Bucks stats in Info Thursday roundup bit that I was going to do. And so what I'm left with is like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Giannis had a quadruple double, but I don't get the full effect of what I had carefully prepared and then woke up early this morning at 6:15 to write down and prepare for you here on the show.